Good evening and welcome. Welcome to Fight CPS and Stop Taking Our Children. I'm your host, Bob Pace, and it's a warm welcome. And I know that you want some help with what I call the child protection system. I'll let that sink in for a second there. Okay. All right. Who's okay? I got to hit Sky. Okay. All right. So I got that in there. Then hit appearance. Appearance now. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. There we go. All right. Okay. It's a warm, warm welcome. It's a warm, warm welcome. Hello, Forrest Wendy. You're from Michigan. Glad to hear from you. And we have Veronica. Bueno. Good evening. I'm so glad to see you, Veronica and Forrest. You seem like new people to my live stream, and I'm glad you're here. Um, I'm so glad you're texting a message to me. Um, One thing when you're texting a message is that I like the kind of the format that's used on the page there. And so we start off with a text of a comment in the area of a question about CPS or about the adult protection services. That's something new that's come up that some people are having trouble with their elderly people and also children who are still in the hands of foster care and are being transferred over to adult services. And that's bad because they're being used. It really is bad. Now, besides doing a comment or a question, all I ask is you give your first name and the city or county you're from in the state. Now, if you're outside the United States, I'd like to see you from the country you may be from. And Veronica is from California. Hi, Carilla. Carilla is a longtime family member of the show. She goes by Felicia from Oxnard, California. Welcome, Carilla. Veronica from California, I don't know what part you're from. Fairfield, California. Is that in Northern California or is that Southern? but welcome. And wow, we got another person in. I'm really surprised at the interest tonight. Forrest Wendy, welcome. I recently learned that my 60-year-old daughter is pregnant. Oh boy, that's a tough one. She was adopted around 2022 to 2023 after going into foster care in 2016. So this happened about 4 years ago. And so your daughter was taken away from you, Forrest, Wendy. What part of the world are you from, Forrest? That's a good concern, Forrest, Wendy. That's a good concern. And I'll try to help you out there. Now, what I do is I try to talk about issues that are you're facing with CPS and try to help you. Now, I'm on twice a day, usually typically at 8 o'clock in the morning on the weekends, and during the weekdays at 10 o'clock in the morning. Then in the evening, I'm on every night at 7 p.m. Now, tonight's a special case. I had a family commitment that tied me up all day today. I wanted to do the show earlier today, but I was only allowed to do it tonight late at 10 o'clock. That time is Pacific Standard Time. So the guys, if you're from the East Coast, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. If you're in England, you're 8 hours ahead of me. So it's 6 o'clock in the morning. In Europe, you're 9 hours. You're 7 a.m. in the morning. In Africa, you're 7 a.m. in the morning. So anyway, I got some people, some fresh new faces. I got Corilla, part of the family. And what I like to do is help answer your questions. Hello, John Wayne. Oh boy. Well, we got Detroit, Michigan. So we have somebody from Detroit, Michigan, a person from California, Fairview, and we have Corilla from Oxnard, California, and Veronica from Fairview, California. So I will try to help you out there. Well, here's the problem being you haven't told me enough to tell you where you should go. First of all, you don't want to deal with CPS. They're trouble for you. 50% of all child protection systems are bad or corrupt. Every state has counties, and in every county is a child protection system. It was mandated by Congress in 62 that they protect their children from neglect and abuse, and these are the social workers. But what's happened is that we had some rogue people come in that are so bad. So um, you don't know whether you're going to have a honest CPS case or fair treatment in your CPS case. and it's troublesome. And without a real attorney, you're going to be in a lot of serious problems. Now, I recommend my rule number one is you get an attorney, and that attorney needs to be trained in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law, and should have fought CPS. Now, not all of you can afford attorney because attorney, for instance, the attorney that I use, Vincent Davis, who promotes the show, um, is his retainer for LA County starts at $5,000. He's a $500 an hour attorney, and he will fight in other states. He will do cases in other states, but you got to add on the cost of airfare, hotel and accommodations, ground transportation, and a license to do um, legal work in that state. So it is a little bit more costly. But your children are the most precious thing, and I had to sell my home, a quick sell my home to get the money, to get the funds. Now we have one of you that says their child got pregnant, I guess, after they were adopted. If it's a closed adopted, there's nothing you can do or find out about that child. I don't know, was this a closed adoption or an open adoption? And I'm directing this now to the person that brought that to my attention, which is um, Forrest Windy. And Forrest Windy is from Detroit, Michigan. Forrest Windy, was adopted. She was adopted in foster care. Now, since it's 2016, that's 9 years ago. So you won't be able to find anything or do anything about it, especially if it was a closed adoption. Your parental rights and your legal rights must have been terminated by the child protection system in Detroit, Michigan. But I can try to help to you if you tell me more information. Now, because a child's pregnant, I don't know what the complaint would be. You said she's not receiving medical care. How do you know she's not receiving medical care? Because if your child was adopted, how are you still in touch with your child? How do you know she is or is not receiving medical care? That's a tough one, Forrest Wendy from Detroit, Michigan. Now, Veronica said, can a judge dismiss a complaint? Sure can. If all the evidence, documents, paper trails included, sure can. But you got to have an attorney that presents that case. Problem is, if you have a real attorney, a professional attorney, that can happen. But if you have a court-appointed attorney, the chances are nil that is going to happen. The chances are nil that's going to happen. So I'm going to try to help you. Now, besides text me a message, a question or a comment, you can also be on my show as a guest. To be a show my guest, all you have to do is email me at my email address, which is bobp@vincentwdavis.com. You just tell me I want to be on Bob's Monday night show or Bob's Sunday morning show or Bob's Friday night show or Wednesday morning show. You just pick the day and the time, either morning or evening. I have 14 shows a week to pick from. So you email me and say, I want to be on your Saturday morning show. And then I will verify you and send a message to my show producer who will give you a link on a software application called StreamYard that I use. It uses YouTube to transmit the messages and so forth. But to be a guest is kind of nice because I can take up to 9 of you. And with me makes 10 of us talking. Now, with a phone call, I can only talk to one person at a time, one person at a time. And that's one person at a time now. Um, we have a new person in here, I think. Her name is Crystal Carrillo. Welcome, Crystal. Um, I know there's hope, Veronica. I don't want to discourage you. Um, Now, Crystal Carrillo says the question: if all the detention reports wasn't filed in 48 hours, does CPS case get to throw out in California? Not necessary. You see, you have to understand, CPS is corrupt. They do their own rules. They're not going to follow rules. 50% of the time, CPS is wrong. And 50% of the time, they're going to take your child. They'll come into your home because you let them in. You don't have to open that door. Furthermore, they'll sit there and inspect your home. They're not allowed to do that. Your home is your castle. When your door is closed, it's the drawbridge is up. Nobody in your home. But if you let them in or a family member lets them in, then you open yourself like a can of worms there. Because you need to have legal representation. If you're involved with a criminal matter, you need to have legal representation. It's your civil right that you have an attorney defend you. So you either have to go out and hire one or use the court appointed one. Now, the court appointed one is what they hope you use because the court appointed attorneys work for CPS. They're controlled by CPS, they're paid by CPS. They will not fight your case. So you have two choices: either get a real attorney or use the court appointed attorney. Now, a real attorney, you can fight your case. A court, you won't be able to. So you're going to have to accept what social workers are doing, what CPS is doing. Now, Crystal further says that, well, I guess she's got a second part of the question. If the detention report wasn't found, it's repeated. You've repeated your thing twice here. I don't know why it got repeated. I'll fix that. Okay, hello. At the detention, I have no idea why it's been repeated. Are you repeating it or? Well, let me stick with one comment here. You got it three times, so it's kind of confusing. Forrest Wendy says, I'm unsure if it's a closed or open adoption. Well, if she's your child and you went through this, you should have court papers that say it was a closed adoption. You also should have papers that says that your rights as a parent were terminated, both the medical and educational rights. So your case is like you said 2016, it's 2025 now. So that's 4 plus 5, that's 9 years ago. So you got to get your court papers out and find out if it's a closed or an open adoption. If it's open, you can still be in touch with the child. If it's closed, you can't talk to the child till they're 18. You can't talk to the child till they're 18. Now, up in Madera, California, Crystal is talking about a detention report that wasn't filed within 48 hours. Well, there are rules that CPS must follow, but you're not going to see them do them. That's what's so sad. Hmm. Okay, here's the answer. Now, I looked this up on the internet, and it says in a Child Protection Services case in Madera, California, is not automatically dropped if the detention hearing is filed within 48 hours. Rather, if the court fails to hold the detention area within the required time frame after a petition is filed, the minor must be released from the custody. Through the case may continue depending on the circumstances. If a petition is filed and the detention area is not held within the specific time, the child must be released. But the court can still proceed with the case determines the child is dependent of the court, meaning the child's in danger and it has to be dependent on the court. So the detention hearing time, there's a critical time period, but you got to file a petition and you need the help of an attorney to do that. You need the help of an attorney to do that. Crystal Carrillo from Madera, California. And then Forrest Wendy is saying, I never received any paperwork about any of my children being adopted. She verbally held me over the, told me on the phone. That was weird. What you need to do is go to the place where the court was held and ask the clerk for copies. You need your case file. Hopefully, you have your case number or your case name, and she can look it up and then print out the copies you need of any paperwork. But it's CPS doesn't like to give paperwork. They like to hide everything. They like to hide everything. So that is kind of really hard there, where they want to hide things. And so I really feel bad that you're going through that mess. Um, I got to help you out somehow, um, Forrest, Wendy, with that, because we got to find out. Because if it's closed adoption, you can't do anything to the child's 18. And Crystal, for the detention hearing, you got to have the petition filed right away so that it is dropped. So Forrest Wendy says she's never received any paperwork, just verbally told on the phone. That's typical of CPS. They're very bad. They don't believe in paperwork. But you can get the paperwork. You can get the records. Your case is held in a file, and the clerk can help you print out copies of your case where you can see what the court orders were, if your medical rights were terminated or your educational rights were terminated. Then if they weren't terminated, you can contact and ask them or make a complaint that the child's in danger. Now, if you feel your child's in danger, call 911 and report it. The reason why I'm telling you to call 911 instead of the police or the Child Protection Service, because there won't be a record. You see, the police and the Child Protection may not make a record. 911 will show a record, and they'll direct it to the right party. So you should always call 911 when there's an emergency or legal matter. And so I'm trying to help you all with things that you may not know or may know or something there. Um, so Veronica or Crystal or Forrest, do you have any more questions for me? I'm going to put my phone number up so you guys can call in and talk to me. My number is 626 698 0990. So my phone's live. And I have a work number and I'm directly connected. I have two numbers, my personal number and my work number. So I do want to help you out there. Now, Felicia, do you have anything to ask me in Oxnard? Felicia? And John Wayne, where are you from and what is your CPS case? What is your CPS case and where you're from? And Forrest Windy also says the adopted law life mom has not taken her to get prenatal care started. The only thing that she um, keeps asking is she in touch with anybody in her biological family? Well, again, if it's a closed adoption, she can't be in touch with her biological family. If it's an open adoption, it's a different story. So I need to know whether it's a closed or optional thing there. Now, Veronica says, I'm going after the people who are acting for the agency. A paper trail is the only thing I have to hold on to. That's fine. And the folks on Acapulco. I studied my case through and through, and I feel confident. I'm glad. I'm glad, Veronica. Now, Forrest says, I'm unsure if it's a closed or open case. That's where you have to get a hold of the clerk, Forrest. Now, Veronica says, um, there's always that hope for the best. Expect the worst. Yes, I agree with what you're saying. So we need to find that paperwork, Forrest. We need to find for it. So anyway, uh, so we need some more questions. It's 10:35. It's been about oh about 7 minutes since you guys have written me anything. You start off really good, writing a lot of things, but some of you guys have kind of died off there. Now, four things to keep in mind. If you're not going to use a real attorney and you use a court appointed attorney, it's a different strategy fighting CPS. One, you got to tell your court appointed attorney you're not guilty. You got to make sure he understands you're not guilty. Two, you got to tell your court appointed attorney, tell the judge that you want family reunification. You want to reunify the family. So you want family reunification. Three, it's very important that your court appointed attorney tells the judge that you want to follow the case plan. Whatever the judge says you have to do, you should follow it. I don't mean necessarily follow social services, but follow the plan that the judge so orders. That's important that your court appointed attorney tells the judge that. And lastly, you want to ask for as much visitations as you can. Any kind of visitations, if it's Zoom or if it's supervised, you want to keep up the visitations with your children. You don't want to lose that. And you certainly don't want to lose your legal rights and your medical rights to your children. You got to keep those. And it's going to be hard because the typical MO of a social worker is to bring the police out to intimidate you and think you got to open the door. And when you open the door, they're going to see everything and they're going to make reports about it. If you talk to them, they're going to use what you say against you. The police are only there to protect the social workers, not to enforce what the social workers are trying to do. They're supposed to protect the social workers. You're going to call tomorrow, Forrest? Okay. I'll be on again tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'd love to have you call in. Tomorrow, you could go to the court and talk to the clerk and get your paperwork. That's important to do that. That's very important to do that. Now, Felicia, I know it's late at night. You're in California, but there's something that you can ask me that can help you. Also, John Wayne, I have no idea where you're from. And it's interesting you have the famous cowboy name. And I'm here, Veronica, to help you further with your CPS matter. Now, Forrest is from Detroit, Michigan. Veronica is from California, and she's from Fairfield, California. And we have Corilla from Oxnard. What's new, Corilla? What are you going to do on Monday? What are you going to do on Monday? Now, I know it's late at night and it's hard, maybe, but I'm here to help you. I have 5 rules I put together to follow. Rule 1, get an attorney. Rule 2, do lots of documentation. Rule 3, don't open the door to social workers or police. Don't talk to them, and don't let your children go. Watch medical trafficking. Rule 4 is how to look on the internet or Chat GPT. That's another search engine. Chat GPT is an excellent search engine to find things. And rule 5 is to make copies of your most important legal documents. Make copies so you have regular to give and show the social workers. So those are 5 really simple rules I have. One thing you have to understand, you're on 2 tracks. If you have an attorney, he or she will fight for you. You're on 1 track. If you don't have an attorney and you have to use a court order attorney, then you're pretty much going to have to do what the court order tells you to do. So it's kind of hard because he's not going to fight. He wants to get out of there quick. But if he knows that you're not guilty and that you want to do reunification and you want to follow the court order plan from the judge, and you want to have numerous visitations with your children. Those are important concepts that you need to know. It's really important to know those concepts. Now, right now, it's about 35 minutes running time of my show. We have to end the show at 11 o'clock. And my phone number is up there, and no one's called in. I love to hear from you. I love to hear from you. Now, let me check to see if the phone number is set up to receive calls. I'm going to go mute for 1 minute here. I'm going to go mute for 1 minute. Okay, I've double checked the number to see if I can take calls. And we'll see if we got any calls. Well, we have no calls at 10 o'clock at night. So these are earlier calls. Anyway, my phone is on and I'm ready to take phone calls. I'm ready to take phone calls. Now, I don't know why you guys all stopped talking, but I'm still here. Crystal has stopped. Forrest is going to call me tomorrow from Detroit, Michigan. Veronica, you stopped. Cruella, you haven't really said anything. I don't know if you have any questions or anything. I don't know if you need help. And John Wayne, I don't know where you're at. I don't know where you're at. But I'm here to help you. Or to be help, I need you to ask me questions. I've had over 2,600 people talk to me. And they've helped me. And, I'm not an attorney, but I'm a loving father and a husband. I have 43 years of marriage experience, and I've helped raise 6 children. I have 61 years of life skills. I've been working a long time. And hopefully, I come up with the answer that you're looking for. Now, Wendy asked me, what rights do a biological mother get when adoption is open? Well, an open adoption, let me see right now. Oh, hold on a second. Detroit, Michigan, CPS. When you're talking about a Michigan adoption, a mother generally has no legal rights to parental rights to the child, even in an open adoption. A parental rights are permanent terminated. An open adoption is a personal agreement for communication and contact, not a legal one that restores parental rights or allows for birth mother to regain custody. Her rights are limited to the terms and specific of non-legal binding agreement with the adopted parents. So the adopted parents may want to do an open adoption where they make an agreement that they'll tell you how the child's doing and those kinds of things, but it's not going to give you rights to regain custody of the child. That's a whole separate matter. And to get custody, you would have to wait till the child's 18 and then you can adopt her. You can adopt her if she wants to be adopted. Now, there's no legal rights in the fundamental purpose of adoption in Michigan. Once adoption is finalized, a mother's legal rights are permanently terminated. Now, open adoption agreements allows for ongoing contact and information shared between the birth family and the adopted family. But these agreements are not legally enforceable in Michigan and do not restore parental rights. The birth mother's role in an open adoption, the birth mother involvement is based on goodwill and mutual agreement of the adopted parents. You want to focus on the child's best interests. Michigan laws, like those in other states, are designed to ensure consistency, permanency, and stability for the child, which is why parental rights are terminated. Legal versus personal agreements. The openness of adoption refers to the level of contact or information shared, not the legal standing of the birth parent, which remains terminated after finalization of adoption. Now, a birth mother has 5 working days to change her mind in Michigan. If the birth mother is given an out of court consent, she may request a revocation within 5 working days, excluding weekends and holidays. The court is not required to grant the request for revocation. So, hopefully, that helps you a little bit, um, Forrest Wendy. I hope that helps you out a little bit. Hmm. Now we're getting close to the bewitching hour because at 8 o'clock I do have to end my, excuse me, at 11 o'clock I have to do end my live stream. The last person to talk was Forrest, and the judge will decide. The judge will decide be open or closed, and your attorney will help the judge make the decision. The judge will decide. Um, Very quiet. We're down to only a couple people left in the room, and I guess no one really has any more questions for me. Um, I know you were never informed, but you need to find the records. And the way to find the records is see the clerk. The clerk of the courtroom will provide you the records. Let me see here. We're down to All right, it's 11 o'clock. I do have to end my live stream. Well, I want to thank you all for listening tonight. Um, I'm going to try to be positive, not too discouraged, but it sounds like you guys, either it's late at night, you got tired of asking. I know Forrest Wendy wants a call tomorrow, and she's been talking about closed and open adoption. I'm glad you joined me tonight. You're new, and I hope you become part of the family. Crystal Carrillo, I only had one comment from you, and I gave you the answer. And I don't know if you can file that, but you have to do 48 hours. And thank you, Veronica from California, calling in. Forrest Wendy from Detroit, Michigan. John Wayne, I have no idea where you're at. And I hope you're not one of those crazy people that wants to be a troll in here. You see who else we have. We haven't heard from Felicia except hello, Uncle Bob. Well, I'm glad you're here, Felicia. And I hope you come again tomorrow and ask away for your help. So I want to thank all of you in here, but keep fighting for your children. Don't give up. Come here. I will help fight for you. Now, there'll be a brief video after I sign off. Now, I'm going to take my phone number down and put it in the Department of Government Efficiency, which is DOGE for short. That's a government entity that Trump started in January that's investigating all the government entities to see whether they're in good shape or bad shape. And right now, I know the child protection system is very corrupt, very corrupt. So I'm going to tell you good night. Listen to the video. Again, thank you all for texting messages to me. I'm here to help. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. God bless y'all and good night.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted. And if you go against then it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce them. This is Vincent Davis, defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the
last ones left. Put your faith